and welcome to A Little Crafting. This is a bit of a bonus episode that I wanted to record today, mostly because I've realised that I have a lot of works in progress, or a lot of project bags with things in them that I am not working on. So I saw Villenvine Yarns recently, Kirsten, do a kind of open all the bags, see what's inside, decide whether to frog it or keep it episode, and I thought I would do exactly the same thing. So my plan is to start from smallest to largest. I have 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 projects in bags that are not active whips, so that I've not been working on in the last 2 weeks. That I'm just going to go through, see what I think, remind myself what they are, and then show you. Please feel free to comment if I'm undecided on things as well. I probably need your help more for this one than any of my other episodes, because I am so bad at making decisions about things like this. But I'm going to start, small to big, basically. So the first thing is actually not in a project bag, it's in a little bowl. And this is a gnome. I have really enjoyed making the little gnomes in the past and doing the mystery knit-alongs by Schira. This one has a little basket, I think, that I've made in all these lovely colours. This is Mr. B's yarn, I think, again, in some mini skeins that I had. And this is an almost finished gnome, I think. I probably need to check the pattern again. It was definitely a mystery knit along at some point, and I was enjoying it, and I think I got a bit overwhelmed because I was having to knit quite a lot every day compared to the previous knit alongs. So what I really need to do is finish him off. So as I'm kind of quite far along, I think I just want to finish this. So I might find some time this week just to finish off the bottom, do the beard and the nose and everything, and finish this little guy off to make sure he's done. He will go really well as a kind of autumn gnome, I think. This has just been sitting in my lounge on the side, not being picked up for ages. So I'll find the pattern again. There we go, that's the one with the little basket on the back and the mini gnome as well. So yeah, I am going to finish this guy off, definitely. But please hold me accountable if I haven't shown it to you next week and made some, or next time I record and made some progress. Remind me in the comments, please. Yeah, because he's almost done, I think. His little basket. This is what it looks like. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see fully, but yeah, that's what he looks like on my iPad. And he has a little friendly guy. So yeah, I think I can finish him, definitely. So I'll work on that and get it done. That is a first decision made. So yeah, I do really like the colours of yarn that I've chosen. This one in particular for the little basket. Looks really cute. Okay, really nice kind of autumnal palette there. So I'll keep my iPad in front of me so I can look up some of these patterns as well. Next up, this has been sitting here for a really long time. This is actually a bag of Opal Advent Calendar mini sock wool balls like this. And what I have done is started a mitered square blanket. So there's two. And then I think what I did was I decided my gauge was changing, and I carried on but started again. So I have 5 mitered square pieces. I don't think there's any more in here. I have the needles I was using, which are these Knit Pro Symphonies. That goes to show how long ago this was abandoned because my Knit Pro Symphonies I never use anymore. In fact, I probably tried to find these at some point to donate them and couldn't find them. So yeah, it has been a long time since I actually knit on these, and I can see actually the difference in size between the two. So yeah, there's a little bit extra on that one. So I think I'm gonna frog these, definitely. So these are gonna be unravelled. In terms of what I do with the opal yarn after that, I'm gonna have to have a think, and I might do some swatching or cast on something else, because there is a pattern I would really like to do with leftovers, but I'm not sure it will work quite as well with the opal yarn. I think that was my mistake early on, was that I thought the opal advent calendar would be great for something like a mitered square blanket, but it's such a busy yarn that it kind of looks really busy, and that wasn't really my jam. So what I was going to do, I think it's the Northeasterly, there we go, yeah, the Northeasterly blanket by Skein Annigans. I think this one is just a really lovely looking blanket. It's one of the ones that someone has made on Ravelry. So it's got all of these kind of arrows that look really good. So what I might do is try knitting one of those chevron arrows with some of the yarn that I've already started to use in here, see what it looks like, and then make a decision. If not, I may end up donating these mini skeins to a friend of mine who is a sock knitter. She is 100% a sock knitter, so that she can use those for heels and toes instead. Although it would be a shame to give away my entire advent calendar. If I'm not going to use it, someone else might as well get some use out of it. So okay, that is the plan for that. This was a first project bag I made. It's falling apart. So yeah, it's definitely not the best quality. I was definitely learning at this point, and it has some issues for sure, but it was quite good to kind of hold this in. Really early days on with both knitting and sewing was basically the epitome of what this means to me at the moment. So yeah, but plan, that's a plan, which is great. Right, next up, let's look at some socks. So this one I know what it is, and I don't know what to do with it. And it looks really pretty, and I feel like I should carry it on, but I have not picked this up in 2 years. So I think I've established already on this podcast that I am not a sock knitter. Or I'm a sporadic sock knitter, like really sporadic, like once every 2 years sock knitter. This is made out of some really beautiful yarn. Have I got the label in here? Let's see. No, it is a West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas colourway. It's being held in a Quince Pie bag, and I do really love this bag. This is a 2 at a time sock bag with these beautiful birds on it. Obviously specifically bought for 2 at a time socks, and yet I'm doing a 1 at a time sock in this bag. So I should probably swap the project that I've got in here. This is the yarn. Really lovely sparkly blue, really lovely winter yarn. I have knit a toe and a foot, and then started the leg, and I was going to do an afterthought heel on this. So for the leg, I decided I was going to do a custom slip stitch pattern. Now this is where part of my problem is. One, I think I did alterations to the toe. I'm gonna have to figure those out if I want to carry it on. Secondly, I made up a pattern for the sock. Now I could probably figure it out. I think it might be slipping every other stitch on one row and then knitting everything in the next row, and then switching around to slipping the alternate stitch on the next one. And I do think it looks really nice, actually. But I'm not sure how it will work when I finish the sock. Guys, what should I do? I'm tempted to keep this going. Again, this is about you guys holding me accountable, so please do. I think I want to carry on with it, but I need to do some figuring out of the toe. Might not be too hard, actually. It's silly because recently I have been yearning for something that I can carry around really easily, and socks are definitely that. Like, they are things you can carry around, knit really easily. Yeah. I am liking the look of it as well. The other thing that I have issues with... Oh, hello, Susie. You coming to say hi? She wants to be a part of the podcast today. But at the moment you can't see her. Come here. There we go. Look. You interfering? Yeah? You want to be the centre of attention, don't you? I might have a cat in my arms for a second. What do you think I should do about the socks? Like this? A little sniff. Would you have them if they don't fit me? I don't know. Okay, off you go. Right, she's going to sit next to me, but that's fine. I'll just have to lean over her. So yeah, the other thing I have with socks, and actually this one might be okay, I am knitting this on, let's check, I think it's 1.75mm needles. That is really tiny. The reason I have to do that is because I'm a very loose knitter, and therefore there is a limit to how small or thin I can make a sock with the right amount of stitches, which is one of the reasons I've kind of given up on sock knitting. But I think I should carry this on. I'm gonna aim to get some more of this done. If I haven't done any more by the end of 2022, it gets frogged. That's my deal. And I will make something else with this absolutely beautiful yarn, because I don't have to make socks with sock yarn. That is also an option. So yeah, going back in the bag. Actually, you know what? I've got some more socks to show you. I'm going to swap the bags around for them because I know the next ones are 2 at a time. So that is decided. So this is going to go in the frog pile, which is over there. And this side is going to be keep going on. Right. Next up, this is some absolutely beautiful yarn that I hand dyed. This is my first proper hand dyed yarn. It was a sock. Hi Susie. Yeah, you want to, she now wants to look inside the bag. You like that one, do you? I might need that in a minute. You don't need to bite me. So this, I know, I apologise. This is a sock blank that I dyed as a gradient. So it's dark in the middle and light on the outside, and it's got little variations of colour throughout. Are you going to let me have this bag again, please? I'm gonna have to show you this now. You gonna let me have the bag? And you can see my pile of, there we go. See, this is happening. Can't get on with anything. Knocking all of the pile down. Okay, I think I've got it back. But yeah, this is a cake that I dyed. My first sock blank dye, gradient. The idea was I was going to knit some really long socks because that kind of makes sense, right? So I have cast on, knit a toe, and then stopped. 2 at a time so that they match with the 2 strands of sock blank. There you go. And I want to carry these on, but I think they're too big. Yeah, the toes are too wide. So I'm gonna have to undo what I've done so far and maybe grab these knitting needles that are the 1.75 for this project. Okay, I need some more 1.75mm knitting needles. Let's do that. That's an action I can take. But at the moment they're a frog until I sort that out. So this is just going to go into my little bird bag. There you go, 2 at a time socks, into the frog pile, and then sparkly yarn goes into my Clara Rose Crafts Beauty and the Beast bag, which is this lovely one, and I do love this so much. A tiny little bag for a small project. And you get charms and all sorts on it as well. That is going there. I am gonna have a little break to change my battery, and then I will be back shortly after paying some attention to the cat as well. So we have 2 frogs and 2 finishes so far. Right, next up, this little bag, another Quince Pie bag with a round bottom. This one is my Pretty in Pleats tank top. So similar situation to other things where it's fingering weight yarn, it's stockinette, it's in the round. I am just getting bored. That's what's happening. I need something with a little bit of interest to carry on with. I have not been getting on with just knitting this in the round. The yarn is super fine. It's Bomulin by Isaga, and it's a really beautiful mix of cotton and linen. Really lovely colour. The Pretty and Pleats pattern, in Pleats pattern, is a pattern by Andrea Yetman. It's very sweet. I really like the look of it. I feel like my gauge on this is a bit loose. If you look, you can kind of see my hand behind it, and I don't think that's the best thing. So I think I'm going to frog this. What I might do is find another pattern that I can hold this double for, because it is really lovely yarn, but the way that I'm knitting it for this, it's just not as even or as lovely as I had hoped it would be. So I'd like to have a Pretty in Pleats tank top, but I might need to find a different yarn for that. Maybe do it in a another fingering weight yarn that I have. Or see if I can use the one that they've used in the actual sample, which may be a bit thicker than this one. Maybe that's the difference. I also wonder if my gauge is a bit loose. I might check that before I actually frog it, just to see if that is the problem with this. I was knitting this on bamboo needles, so super tiny bamboo. That's because linen has a habit of being very slippery on the metal needles that I would normally use. So I got these especially, and they look like toothpicks basically, 2.25mm. So yeah, I'm pretty much knitting this at a sock size, but I'm knitting a top in this. I also think it might be too big. Maybe it is a gauge problem. Yeah, I'll check my gauge before I frog it, and then you might see this yarn in something else sometime soon. It's a shame because I started this last year and I was really into knitting summer tops. I also ordered an extra ball of this yarn because I knew I wouldn't have enough. Then maybe it can become something really lovely if I hold it double, which I'm much more confident in just doing now. Or maybe I could try, yeah, basically frog, think about what to do with the yarn and also what to knit this pattern in terms of yarn later on, because I do think it's really pretty as a little summer top. I'll show you a picture just on the Ravelry page. It's a free pattern as well. So yeah, sorry, you can see the reflection of my light in the window, but yeah, really nice flowy top, which is what I was after. And I like the way that the sleeves, or the sleeveless, the shoulders fit. They're quite a wide strap and also kind of do a curve round, and that suits me much better than something just straight up. So yeah, definitely want to knit the pattern. Maybe this yarn was not the right choice, so that's going to be frogged. Oh, I've got some more needles here that I found in there. Next, small bag, and I'm just going to go back to my projects on Ravelry because I should have a record of what this is because I can't remember what it is. Oh yeah, there we go. So this is a pattern called Solaris, which is a shawl. It is by Melanie Berg, and I made a bit of headway on it this year, but I've put it down again. And the reason for that is that the pattern I have is in a physical book. So I can't carry it around with me places, and I can't easily make note. It's also a little bit confusing. You have to flick back and forth from pages. So I really need to be able to concentrate. So I don't want to have anything else going on in the background to be able to knit this pattern. Actually, I'll show you the correct side. So these are kind of stripy sections, and I do really love the way that it's turning out. It also later on has a really beautiful detail that I like the look of, which is part of the reason I wanted to knit this shawl in the first place. Another reason I think I haven't carried on with it is I've just finished using this yarn. This one here, as the contrast, and I was deciding what to use next, and I think I decided on this one, but it's a very dark yarn, so I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. I'm basically using one skein of yarn from, I can't remember what they were called. I think they're called Dye Done, and that's the base colour. really pretty muted kind of creamy pink, and a load of minis that I just happen to have. I don't know where they're all from, but I've got kind of a really lovely plum, that lovely pink. I think these might be from Beehive Yarns actually. I chucked that one in, I think that's a Beehive Yarns one. This one is as well. And then, yeah, that one I got an Unravel especially for this shawl to go with the other colours. And then the next colour, like I said, the dark one, is a Madeline Tosh unicorn tail that I got when I ordered my DK twist yarn for a big jumper. So yeah, I don't think I'm at the stage of frogging this yet. I have been knitting on it not so long ago, and I think it's looking really nice. I just need to pick up that book again, have it in front of me and learn to concentrate on something. Probably not a D&D knitting project, probably not a film that I need to concentrate on project, probably something that I just sit at the table with the book open in front of me and knit on. I also need to be sure about the colours I'm using, so actually maybe as an action what I'm going to do is go through my stash again, see if I can find something that maybe suits it better, even if it's a large skein that I can use a little bit of, and then I'll actually feel motivated to carry on. It's crazy because I've knit so many shawls since I cast this on initially, and this was a present from a friend of mine, the book, so I really do want to knit this. It's not, you know, a knit that I want to abandon really. I am keeping this in my Pink Hazel project bag, which is one I got a very long time ago. Really pretty colours. I've got all of my pins on here, so I've got the little, a lot of cats, the little cat in a yarn bowl saying shush, cat in a jumper, cat on a bookcase, sheep, a little house just here, and then also my craft group pin, which is made by Zooniverse, and I'll link her in the description box below. She is a member of my craft group and kindly made us these yarn ball pins. And I do have one more pin to add to that, so I'll do that later on. So that's going in that pile. Next up, this is again one I have been working on recently. My issue with it is the colour combination, not necessarily the pattern. So this is a cowl by Mina Phillip of Knitting Expat. It is one from her cowls book, Cows inspired by Persian rugs, and I've got these two balls of yarn, so the green and the kind of mottled blue that has some colour changing. I think my colour choice with these two was not the best, so I'll show you the two yarns together, and I think it comes more from the fact that this one here is very, very variegated. And it changes quite quickly from one to the other, and the green is a really, really lovely colour, but I think those two together have actually turned out quite a lot, as in it's a lot of colour change. It's not much contrast, although you can see the design a bit. There's not much contrast, or not as much as I'd like. So as much as I've enjoyed working on this, I keep looking at it and going, I don't like it. So decision is I'm going to frog it. I've been umming and ahhing about this for so long and knitting a few rows and then questioning it again, and I just need to make a decision. And I think what I'll do is knit it in the green but find another contrast and then knit something else with the other yarn. These are both River Knits yarns. I don't have the ball bands in here at the moment, but this is their fingering weight yarn, and this one is a bit like a spin cycle or a Crazy's Alba ball in terms of kind of the colour transitions, so it looks kind of hand spun and barber poley. So yeah, that one's being frogged. Decision made. Can't go back on it now. I've recorded a podcast that says so. So I am gonna do that and chuck it over in the corner there. Done. Next up, so where do I go next? So I think this bag actually hasn't got a project in it, it's just got yarn. But I want to show you this. So I think this is for the Snefald shawl by Fibre Tales. I'll double check that. But basically I have a few colours of Knit by Numbers DK that I'm going to use for this shawl. I don't think I need 5 colours. I'm not 100%. So yeah, there are all the colours. 2 greens, a pink and a grey and a white. That's 5, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, yeah, 5. These are all Knit by Numbers DK, which is what the pattern is calls for, and what the original was knit in. I do love Knit by Numbers DK. It is 100% Falklands merino wool, and yeah, this is going to be a lovely shawl. So yeah, that's one that I will be making. I need to double check what the yarns I was going to use are, because I think I was deciding between these 2 colours. Yeah, this isn't actually a work in progress quite yet. Yeah, and it's in another Clara Rose Crafts bag, this little yellow one, which is Alice in Wonderland themed. Yeah, so that is a 2 wind selection of things. Now, I think next I'm going to talk about something that breaks my heart a little bit. So yeah, that one goes in the carry-on pile. This bag contains the sweater that I knit my husband for Christmas. I really liked the look of this sweater. In fact, it actually still looks really nice when it's not on a person. I sped along and managed to get this done pretty soon after Christmas for him. But the trouble is the shoulders just look ridiculous. It is a bottom up sweater, and then you knit the sleeves on. I think something about the shape of the shoulders means that with my gauge, the way that I've knitted it or the way that it sits on him, they puff out. So I don't know if you can see, just kind of bumps up. My aim was really to undo part of this and redo it. But I have no idea how to achieve what I need to achieve, which is flattening out these shoulders somehow. But it's basically a complete sweater. And I'm on the verge of saying that I might just frog the whole thing, which would be really sad. So let's talk about the pattern. This is called the Cotswold Henley. It's a pattern by Megan Babin, and I am knitting, or I have knit it in Durarium Natura Gilliatt in this lovely green colourway. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, and again I don't have the ball band in here because I don't seem to keep ball bands in my project bags. But yeah, Durarium Natura Gilliatt, really lovely colour. And I thought it would really suit my husband because he really likes Henley sweaters, and I wanted to make him a green one because he normally wears blue ones, and has green eyes. So yeah, I think my next step is going to be to undo the sleeves. If I undo the sleeves, I can put the sweater on him without the sleeves and see if this part of the shoulder still does the same thing. If it does, I'm gonna have to undo the seam at the top of the shoulders and unknit part of the shoulder and figure out what to do. Might need the help of my craft group for this, so but I think that's the way to go. I don't want to commit to frogging the entire thing until I know for sure that it can't be saved. But I'm very, very gutted. The colour is really lovely. Should be a super cozy sweater for him, and it just looks very strange. I did have a look at Ravelry at other people's projects. I did check back and make sure I did the right thing. I did. I tried blocking it out, didn't work. I'm going to bite the bullet and just unravel those sleeves. That's what I'll do. Cool. Plan of action. So it's going in the frog pile, but I'm only frogging the sleeves for now. There we go. Next up are a couple of sweaters. So the first one is in this lovely bag that my friend made for me. She is Throw and Thread on Etsy, and she's made other project bags to sell. I don't know if there's any in her shop at the moment, but yeah, this was a ginormous one she made for me for my projects. This is another one that I've sort of abandoned over the summer, but I'm doing pretty well on it, so I think it's going to be a keep. It is the Altheda by Jennifer Steingass. Here it is, and it's a really lovely jumper actually. This is being knit in Pluto Lopi, which is unspun yarn that comes in plaits like this, and it's the label, Pluto Lopi. It is a bit scratchy, but I don't find it as bad as Let Lopi, which is why I decided to try this one. I am getting there with this, but like I've said, I have a problem with a sea of stockinette. Honestly, I don't actually mind sleeves as much. So yeah, I think I've got a bit to go before I do the ribbing. But I just need to pick this up now that it's cooler, because I think this yarn in my hands when it was really hot would have been a pain. So yeah, I think this is definitely a keep. I'm almost there. Everything else is good. So yeah, hopefully get this done as my Christmas jumper this year. It was supposed to be my Christmas jumper last year. I started it in November, so it's almost been on the needles for a year, which is very unlike me. but I'm going to blame that on the heat in this country and the sea of stockinette that I'm in. But yeah, that should be what I'll probably do, is make this a D&D project, and then that will go really fast. So yeah, the colourways I'm using are colour 1027, which is the grey, and then the blue one, ooh, I don't have the label, but I think it's something like Galaxy. It's this really beautiful blue. I actually just would like a jumper in just this, but I have a lot of blue sweaters. I use blue a lot. So yeah, this is a keep. That's not going to fit over there. This can go back over here. And then last one I have in a project bag is, again, Dorera Moneta or Juliette in the Ciel colourway. This is such a blue, beautiful blue. And this is, my Weekender sweater. So this was a stop-start one, and again, I'm going to blame this on the weather more than anything else. Again, I am just on a sea of stockinette. This will get turned inside out. It's a pattern by Andrea and it's a really nice, basic, simple sweater. I think what happened with this was that I started it and it would have been too big. It's also got a tulle bind off and a split hem, so I had to restart, and that kind of slowed down my progress a bit, and then got really hot again, so I didn't fancy carrying on. But it has this really lovely detail up the centre, like a centre seam, so it'll be on the inside, so we'll have the pearl bumps instead of the stockinette showing. And ultimately this should be quite a quick knit. Again, probably not very interesting to knit on because it's just stockinette with a bit of a seam, but I think if I've got an interesting TV show on or something like that, I'll get on with this quite quickly. So this is in my Antler and Acorn project bag, which I got from my husband for Christmas 2 years ago now, which I absolutely love, highly recommend. Love having the leather strap on it, and also this beautiful jungle design. So I think some decisions have definitely been made. I have 5 project bags chucked in the frog pond, so I will get on with frogging those and sorting them out, and yeah, caking up the yarn again. So thanks so much. If you have any tips or tricks or advice below for anything that I'm umming and ahhing about or getting annoyed with, please give me a shout. Let me know if you think anything is the wrong decision as well, although by the time I see your comments I might already have bit the bullet. If you have any tips on that Cotswold Henley and what to do with it, please let me know. I really need some help. I am so devastated that it doesn't fit my husband properly and looks very strange on him. And yeah, thanks so much for watching once again. I hope you enjoyed this little bonus episode, and please like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel. Thanks so much. Have a lovely crafty couple of weeks.